tournament. He was phenomenal. Then he came back and wasn't a huge presence. He starts today. Tremont Waters, maybe one of the best point guards in the country. He's number 3 for LSU. There's Skylar Mays to Naz Reid for a long 3. No good. Williams battles, and it's Oklahoma State. He'll come out with it.
Rebounding is going to be huge in this game. Oklahoma State allowed 13 offensive boards to Nova the other day. LSU allowed 22 to Florida State. That was the difference in that game.
There's a Yor Ane slam dunk. Good penetration by Isaac Likely to give him an easy 2.
Likely good freshman guard. That's a freshman to freshman situation there. You're going to keep Likely out of the lane. He's got good length, good athleticism. He's a non-shooter. Play off him.
Waters launches in and out. So a couple of long 3 attempts to start for LSU. This is Lindy Waters with the ball.
Tremont Waters coming off a game, one of the best point guards in the country, but had 6 turnovers. Struggled with the big guards again. He doesn't need to settle for that 27-footer without any passes.
Cameron McGriff, superior athlete. 13 offensive rebounds this season, knocks that down. He is shooting 40% from the field. Offensively, Naz Reid lost Yor Ane the last time down, and Oklahoma State didn't see him. Ane up there high with Reid, and the battle falls into the hands of Waters, and here's Likely pushing again. Stripped by Waters, and out of bounds. It looked like it went off of Ane. We'll see, and it did.
It's actually a big play by Ane just to get on the ground. Doesn't matter they turned it over. That's not good. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter, but now it's a dead ball turnover. Because otherwise, that was going to be an odd man break the other way.
Second season, LSU head coach Will Wade, terrific recruiting class, and you'll see a bunch of freshmen here. Reid is a freshman, Javante Smart, who's not starting, freshman with all sorts of talent. They'll battle in the SEC. Will not be any easy game against LSU if they're playing their best.
For sure. I mean, they're loaded with talent. Talking to some of NBA scouts here, they're interested. Naz Reid jumps off the page. Emmett Williams, Waters. These guys have built up reputations. They're gonna be competitors in the SEC. But as far as today, right now, they've got to be sharp on both ends of the floor.
Offensive philosophy for both. They're not afraid of the pace, right?
They want to play with pace. You're absolutely right. Oklahoma State wants to get out there and run, but talking to Mike Boynton, their coach, don't want to get into a park game with these guys, because in a park game, LSU wins. You want to be able to push the pace opportunistically, but at times pull it out.
Looks a little bit like a park game right now. Heck of an athletic play on the other end by Reid to keep the ball in, and there's a foul. And we're going to have 2 free throws. Mike Boynton Jr., his second season as Oklahoma State head coach, nearly made the tournament last year.
Reid sliding over, eliminating the layup for Ane, and then saving it underneath. And that's what some of the scouts we were talking about, because the knock on Reid coming into this year is his motor. How much is he going to bring and give you energy plays, get on the boards? He had 2 rebounds in 41 minutes. That's a game where they gave up 22 offensive boards against Florida State the other night. So that is called into question. We'll see if he rebounds just with his effort and being able to be an impactful player in non-statistical categories throughout the game.
Yor Ane makes the first and the second. Obviously a guy his size at 6'10", out of Overland, Kansas. A terrific offensive rebounder. Second on the team. He's got 9 of those. The human block machine as well.
Good split.
He got off his feet there. Reid looked like he may have gotten hit. Look at a 4-on-3 run out for Oklahoma State. Now 5-on-3. Likely spins, and he's going to get a foul on Waters with a trip. Letting them play underneath.
They are. I mean, he may have gotten a little contact, but if he goes up hard, that's going to be, they're going to get that call. He gets a little shot fake, but then this is just a weak take. He's too good of an athlete. He's got to go up, look for that contact, protect the ball with his body, and try to dunk that thing. Yeah. Cameron McGriff, great athlete, but I don't like how Reid didn't attack the basket. Kid's a phenomenal talent. He's got all the offensive skills, but he's got to put it together.
4 LSU substitutes set to come in. And here they all come.
Yep, this is a line change. And I told you, Will Wade wondered what he was going to get with his team coming off that tough loss. Not pleased. And in that last game, they have certain game goals they try to hit every game. In their locker room, they have the board up there. They want 40-plus deflections. They want, dominate the rebound. They want to win the rebounding battle. 10 or less turnovers. Turkeys, 3 straight defensive stops. They call them turkey, homage to bowling. 0. They accomplished none of those goals in the last game, and they still had a chance to win. You got to teach your team, if you do what we set forth, you will win games. And they have not done what they've set forth.
We had an homage to bowling reference. We're way ahead of the game already.
Wish bowling didn't lead into us there. I thought it was it drone racing?
We had drone racing.
Drone racing.
Do they have turkeys in drone racing?
I don't know. You would know. You love drone racing.
I love drone racing. Darius Days, Marlon Taylor, Darrell Edwards, and Lavelle Bigby-Williams all in for LSU, showing a little more energy as Ney will pick up the foul. You're a Ney.
Created on a deflection. They got a little help in the defense. They get a deflection. They get forces a turnover.
LSU is 0 for 7, perhaps still reeling from the 7 overtime loss in football yesterday at Texas A&M. It's affecting the basketball team.
That was a wild game.
Bizarre.
I mean, A&M lost that game 3 times and ended up winning.
Right. And LSU would say, we won that game 3 times.
Yeah.
Good kick and an open 3 that got contested late and a foul. Taylor's going to go to the line and he will shoot 3.
I mean, Taylor's a guy that he can make a shot, but in the season he's shooting 25%. You got to close out and know your personnel. Michael Weathers just jumps at him like it's Larry Bird shooting this thing. If you're not going to get there, you're going to get there late. You got to make him make it. You turn to your coach and say, "My bad." You don't run him out, run over and bail him out. I was going to try to make another Detlef Schrempf reference, but I let that go for Larry Legend. Thought it just made more sense.
Anytime you have a Larry Legend reference, you're all in my book.
There we go.
You grew up on the mean streets of Needham, Massachusetts, watching Larry Bird play basketball.
It's like Needham, Mass.
It's like growing up with Michael in Chicago or Magic in LA.
There you go.
They become your guy. 2 out of 3 for Taylor. Weathers, who committed that foul, is an athletic machine as well. He has the ball now.
Move it. When they don't have it in transition, they want to make this team guard for 30 seconds and get good ball and player movement.
Bang, Lindy Waters launches a 3, knocks that down. And the senior out of Norman, Oklahoma.
Similarly, Taylor's got a no personnel too. Waters can shoot that ball. He was closed out there, but his hands were down. Doubling Williams in the post, trying to get it back out.
Smart, smothered on the baseline, spins through it, still looking for an option. He's going to have to shoot it. He does. Ooh. Off the iron, and then the offensive rebound bailed out, but a block by Waters. McGriff's a dunking machine. He takes it hard, no foul. Waters buries his second 3. And Oklahoma State on fire early, and Will Wade and the rest of that coaching staff not happy with the way LSU's playing.
Transition defense is going to be critical in this game. You've got to communicate.
Dallin talked about the anxieties that Will Wade had prior to this game, how his team would respond, and they haven't responded really well so far. They're 0 of 10 from the floor. They've given up a couple of 3-pointers to Lindy Waters, and they're down early here, 13-2.
Oklahoma State, credit them defensively, especially in the half court. They've been communicating, talking, 5 guys working as one. LSU, at times, have taken a bad shot. Tremont Waters took one early on. They've had some issues with that, but because they're not scoring, it's hurting their defense. But their transition defense is horrible. Nobody's sprinting back and talking. When you make shots, that'll help that, but you got to sprint back every time regardless.
Well, this is a third-place game in this tournament. You know, given what Oklahoma State found themselves in position last year at tournament time, this is a big game for Mark. This is a big game for committee, right?
This is a humongous game. I mean, Oklahoma State, the reason they're not in, to your point, is because their non-conference schedule wasn't good enough. Well, Mike Boynton went out and scheduled a lot harder and gives them teams opportunities. This is a monster opportunity. If you beat a top 25 team in a good conference in the SEC and non-conference, that's going to help you a lot. And he's got more opportunities, but this is one right in front of him. On the road to Minnesota, on the road to Tulsa, Houston, Nebraska, playing in South Dakota. There's a bunch of opportunities, but this one in front of him, his team needs.
Offensive rebound there after Yor and Ney made it 15-2. Good drive, and there's a foul, and Edwards had that face mask knocked off of his face. So here you go now with 5 guys from LSU all coming in. So this version didn't work either.
Another line change. Here we go.
Complete line change.
I mean, that's obviously you're sending a message to your guys. At some point, you hope it sinks in. Because you're only 6 minutes into this game. It's not like you're out of it. You just have had an atrocious start. And again, it's the things like sprinting back on defense. Whether you're making shots or not, you have to do that. Especially in a game like this against a good transition offensive team.
Mike Cunningham, 55 in for Oklahoma State.
You got to know where he is. Cunningham last night, or last game, 15 points, all 5 are threes, 5 of 10. He's coming in at the graduate transfer from USC Upstate, hunting threes. And Will Wade said, I'm really worried about him. Desagua, number 4, Lindy Waters, all their shooters, they've got to be locked into where those guys are.
Right. Haven't seen Desagua yet in the game. Waters is 2 for 2 from 3. Duncan DeMuth, number 5, in for Oklahoma State as well. That pass deflected. So a little energy on the defensive end for LSU.
Good post up. That's good deep post position.
How about using that body, too? Big body, and a good job by Emmett Williams.
Excellent rim running. Sprinted the floor on the offensive end. Turned, sat on his defender, got the entry pass, and finished. That was a really good execution and hustle by Williams.
Right down for LSU. Their first field goal comes at the 13:30 mark. See a little more energy with the team's hands. They're moving their feet, and they're getting some deflections. DeMuth, long. Ooh, Skylar Mays stepped into it, and he calls a 3 and nails a 3. A little different game all of a sudden. This line has worked.
Has worked. I think Mays may have got away with a little bunny hop, a little travel, but it doesn't matter. This guy can knock it down. You've got to close out again on shooters, just like Oklahoma State was punishing on one end. On the other end, you've got to get back, communicate.
Skylar Mays had 19 points against Florida State. He was 7 of 9 from the field, 4 of 5 from 3. He shows you his range there. The junior out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Knocks down a 3, and just like that, in 15-2 games, 15-9.
Really good player, and he showcased the other night. Really under control. He's got good footwork. He's smart. He's strong. It was an impressive showing, to say the least.
Now into the game is Thomas Desagua. Terrific shooter. Wears number 4 for Oklahoma State. Cunningham can do that as well, and that rattles around, out, and then back in for 3.
All screen defense is going to be important when Cunningham's on it. You got to communicate properly. If you don't come off that well, he's going to be able to knock down 3 as he just did.
Great pass to Williams from Reed for the finish.
That's what NBA scouts like about Reed. Be able to put the ball on the deck and drop a dime, interior passing to Williams.
Emmett Williams, a freshman out of Fort Myers, terrific player. Showed good hands. Cunningham, high arcing 3, no good. DeMuth battles for it. And it'll stay Oklahoma State ball.
That'll drive Will Wade nuts. It was Duncan DeMuth, 1 orange shirt within 3 white shirts at LSU. Again, a team that gave up 22 offensive boards the other night. The lights got to go off at some point. Right. You have to attack the defensive boards every possession. DeMuth just purely outworked him, out-hustled him, and saved a possession for his team.
Nas Reed is 6'10" as a freshman, and he is a wide body.
With good feet, good hands, can shoot it. He's got to rebound the ball.
McGriff fadeaway, good shot. Cameron McGriff's got 4. And a 40% field goal shooter this season, off to a very good start. Here's Reed bumping into somebody. He kicks to the corner for 3, way short. Likely is pushed in with Cunningham on his left. Tremont Waters threw it behind Skylar Mays. And a turnover for LSU. Griff. Ball is still loose, no whistle. And there it is. It's Reed is on the floor in the midst of a bunch of orange shirts. Nas Reed, watch the one-handed catch by Emmett Williams for the throwdown. 2011, Oklahoma State early.
We have to know what we're doing. We have to communicate through it. And Williams, okay, Mays didn't go. Well, then you got to run out there. That's not maybe not be what's supposed to happen, but sometimes you got to go make a play. But it was poor execution defensively and understanding personnel.
So the pointing is not the most effective defense?
Usually doesn't stop. What that means is I'm going to have an open shot if I'm on offense. But Mays also ran into the screen. The whole thing was just poorly executed.
Nice kiss off the window there from Michael Weathers.
Same play. Elbow ball screen. Didn't really stay tight to the defender. Allowed Weathers to turn the corner. Floater. Too easy.
As Reed backing in, throws it up, and there's a follow from Williams. They have a height advantage for sure with Reed and Williams. Weathers, who has the ball, was nearly thrown off the team. He got caught. He had stole a credit card from a bar from the woman, then used the credit card. He was suspended and then given a second chance by Mike Boynton. And he was obviously concerned that his error in judgment would have cost him a basketball career. That a lot of people look at and think there's another level for him to go.
He's a great player. Former freshman of the year in the MAC, Mid-American Conference. Transfers over here when his coach John Cooper at Miami, Ohio, lost his job. Cooper's on the bench now, and you know, people make mistakes, and that's a big one. But he served some time in terms of community service and did other things to work himself back into the good graces of society in terms of his punishment as well as the team, and he's making the most of it.
Boynton's a very big second chance guy, and obviously if you violate that, you'll be off the team and off the program. He is one of those who has seen enough over the years to think that there is some rehabilitation effort should be made.
For sure. These are 18 to 22-year-old kids we're talking about. Lord knows I made enough mistakes, and you hope somebody can, you learn from them, you teach them, and you move on.
There's Mike Boynton. He has got a terrific relationship with his locker room. It's one of the attributes that make Boynton a very good young coach.
I thought it was interesting after they lost to Villanova, and it was kind of they lost handily, if you will. Villanova controlled the pace of that game, but he said the biggest thing he was talking to his guys was about little cultural things. He understands what he's trying to communicate to these guys, but it's a young group, and you have to show them that if you do these things, you sprint to the floor when your guy goes down, you dive in every loose ball, you take every possible charge, every guy stands up when you come out of the game. Those things translate to winning. You do it every single time, and a proof point is Villanova in itself.
McGriff's off to a good start. He knocked down that jumper. He's got 6, and that one rattles around and in. Ref went into traffic. He's able to kick that ball out to Zagwa. Oh, wow. He went head into chin of Bigby Williams. And that hurt the top of the head and the jaw of Cavell Bigby Williams.
It's a good ball fake by Kalu. Go up and get the ball fake. Oh, that's a lot of contact. Kalu is okay, as is Bigby Williams.
Right on the jaw of Bigby Williams, and you can see Kalu grab the top of his head.
Williams checking himself for some blood. He seems okay.
And teeth.
Teeth, yeah.
Kalu out of Windsor, Canada. He's another freshman at 6'9".
Boynton loves him. Says he's the most talented freshman they have, but he's trying to figure it out. We've seen it when every time he's caught the ball, it looks like he's going to shoot it. He looks like he's thinking because he's not shooting it well. He's now 1 for 9 in the year from 3, and he had a couple nice passes. Remember the game we did the other day?
Yep.
Warren and dropping some dimes. He showed a little bit of a skill for a 6'9" guy, but the game's got to slow down for him. He's got to understand when his times are to go and play with confidence.
Misses both free throws. Those were his first misses from the line this year. He'd been 2 for 2. Draymond Waters all the way to the rack, and there's another follow, this time by Bigby Williams. So they've figured out we can win the offensive glass.
They need to, and they don't know what they're in right now. Tremont Waters, as soon as they scored, he was calling 2. They wanted their 2-2-1, three-quarter court pressure back to a 2-3 zone. They were fortunate enough, once they actually figured out what they were in, to get into that zone. We'll see if it has an effect here.
Weathers' quick spin move. He kicks it to Desagua for 3, and it goes in.
That's the guy you want shooting. Yep. Weathers, great job. Once you get the ball in the middle of the zone, it doesn't always have to be at the pass. You get that ball in the middle of the zone, it will collapse as it did, and Desagua was the guy you want shooting there.
McGriff slid, and that's going to be a foul on him. We'll take a timeout when the 2 free throws are shot after this timeout. Desagua spent most of the summer just shooting and making shots. Over 20 shot was fired and ended up killing Wade Sims. So even before the season starts, LSU dealing with tragedy and disaster, and Oklahoma State wanted them to recognize they were aware of what they were dealing with.
Speaking of dealing with it, I don't know how you would cope with that as a teammate, obviously as his parents. Good story in The Athletic, written about his parents and trying to handle that, how they went through it, how they experienced it. And Skylar Mays actually spoke at the funeral, gave the eulogy, and to go through that just a few weeks ago, and how that changes your team, how it changes your program, how it changes people's lives, is really a lot, needless to say.
One of 2 for Darius Days, and they apply some full court pressure.
Going to change the rhythm of this game a little bit, make them, Oklahoma State, work in different ways. Get the ball up the court, wear them down a little mentally and physically. That time was a little bit of a 1-2-1-1 back into a man, so they're mixing up their presses and their half-court defenses now. I like that change by Will Wade, changing the tempo of the game.
Javante Smart is all over Thomas Desagua, not letting him get open for a 3. At the buzzer, that shot goes, and a good start shooting-wise from McGriff. He's got 8 of Oklahoma State's 29. He used all the clock, and he's able to make the shot as the buzzer sounds. Good pass from Waters, really good, and good hands and good catch as well on the other side from Days.
Great job of getting over that screen, taking one more dribble, just waiting, allowing Days to come open on the roll as Oklahoma State did not handle the ball screen well. Weathers ran right into it.
Tremont Waters buries another 3.
That's how this team wants to play. You get a stop, you can get out in transition, secondary break, let's score before the defense is set.
A really good sign for Tremont Waters, who had not shot particularly well from three-point land. 6 of 23 coming in. And Oklahoma State getting a little sloppy their last 2 possessions.
Sloppy.
Their 5th turnover.
Forcing some bad positions at time, but McGriff didn't really need to do that. But take a look at getting in transition. Mike Weathers was trailing the play, allowing Waters to come wide open. No communication by the Cowboys. Who's going to pick up that shooter?
LSU is getting blown out early, and now they're back within 4 with 6:30 to go here at the Advocare Invitational on ESPN's Wide World of Sports campus at Walt Disney World. As Reed doubled. Loose ball picked up by Williams, who throws it up. That doesn't go. Now as Reed battles, he gets fouled, and between Williams and Reed, they are beasts on the board.
And that's the type of stuff that these NBA scouts want to see from Reed. First of all, when the double team came, his pass with one hand across the formation was an absolute
fastball
dart. Yeah, he threw a fastball, a 98-mile-an-hour right down the pipe. Skips it across the formation, allowing a wide open shot. That's a good look. And then something they didn't do in the last game, crash the offensive glass. And they have had now 7 offensive rebounds. They got 2 in that possession and allowed to keep that momentum they're building. And they're feeling pretty good. They're banking stuff in now,
I was going to say, do scouts like that?
No, they don't like that.
As long as it goes in, we'll take it.
The stat books like it because it looks the same no matter what. Right. But when you're watching, you're like, what happened there? Took a little bit. That was a changeup right
He
there.
took something off. I'm going to bring that back just a little bit.
LSU more locked in. You can hear Emmett Williams communicating to guys, talking through the defensive possessions. It's become much harder for Oklahoma State now. Oklahoma State needs to keep moving guys around and not settling for jumpers. Good take by Cunningham.
5 on the shot clock. Mays with the deflection. He lays it in with a dunk. Yeah, this line has stayed on a lot longer than the other line did.
It looks like a different line. It looks like a different group of guys, really. The energy they're playing with, the anticipation, the communication, everything looks way different. You expect a young team to be up and down. Well, they started down. Now they're on their way up. Can they maintain that, though?
Nas Reed, good defense. Tip no good. And here comes LSU again.
Didn't really love that from Mo Kalu. Again, the right time to force a shot from him wasn't it when you need a really good possession.
Nas Reed, dribble, pass, free ball, Javonte Smart. They trailed 15-2 when they grabbed their first lead. Really good job by Nas Reed. Ball fake, got the defender in the air, and then he kicked for an open three.
He's got the complete offensive game.
Yeah, he does. Kalu, tough bounce pass, and he couldn't handle it cleanly. He fights for it, and Mays almost had another one. Instead, McGriff, high arcing three. Rebound, Waters up and in.
They needed that. Stop the bleeding, make an effort play. I do like it. Keep running that ball screen on the elbow there. They've gotten good stuff off of that. Kalu couldn't handle the pass, but it's been effective early in this game.
Waters, that's a tough pass. He went all the way across court. Skylar Mays could not grab it.
He throws that a lot. It's usually a good pass. That one was a little bit off, and Mays didn't look it in. Take a look at Reed as he's walking off. He's a little flustered right now, but he's been playing really well in the offensive end. Shot fake, one dribble, throws the dime over to Smart. Smart strokes the three.
Your NA back into the game for Oklahoma State. Days and Bigby Williams back for LSU. Also on the floor, Marlon Taylor, number 14. Skylar Mays goes to the bench.
These are two of the 50 youngest teams in the league, in the country, excuse me, in terms of experience. So, you know, Oklahoma State came out well. LSU's throwing a punch. Can Oklahoma State withstand that and come out with some good offensive possessions here?
Cunningham alley-oop, great play. He and your NA looked like they'd worked on that before.
Ball screen action right now is really causing LSU some problems. Keep looking to get those screens, or those elbows, or the lane lines extended.
Bigby Williams, man amongst boys there.
Did his work early, sprinted down and got good post position. Conversely, defensively, you got yourself buried before the possession even started.
Tied at 33, under 4 to go in the first half of this one. McGriff.
This is not good. 4. Oklahoma State.
You called it. Days falls on it. The possession arrow goes to LSU.
They're all trying to figure out where the ball was supposed to go. That's a team that's in flux right now with a young group, but we talk about this pick and roll to have.
Look forward to that. We've not mentioned the word consolation once. That was the first reference that we've had all day.
And Coach is right. We talked about it earlier. This is a resume game for both these teams. Oklahoma State knows it all too well what it can do to you. This LSU team, they're trying to make it to the tournament. They didn't make it last year. These are important, critical games early in the season.
When is the coach wrong? Seriously.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I can tell you, never. LSU started 0 for 11, and they have since gotten hot 12-17. Splitting the D, lobbing it up, and Cavell Bigby Williams picks up the alley-oop from Tremont Waters.
Weather's got to be careful. It's the third time he's gone baseline and just left his feet without a plane. If you're going to go baseline and leave your feet and their guys in the corner and you're throwing that baseline drift pass and he's there, okay. But clearly they're not always filling that corner. He's jumping. He's looking back toward the middle of the floor. That's just dangerous. He's got to dribble it out, or if he can jump stop, maybe he can find a way to finish or collapse the defense and then kick it out.
Previous Jones into the game. He wears double 0 for the Cowboys. May to the bench.
Here's that elbow ball screen again. They've had some good joy off of that.
Weathers, wow. There was a whole bunch of contact and bodies flying everywhere. Weathers limps back into the play defensively. I think he's trying to get his shoe back on. And he had a watch as Bigby Williams laid that in.
He sounds. That was all cute because Isaac likely overplayed the pass and allowed Waters to just have a free run at the basket.
Bigby Williams 5 of 5. McGriff has been hot as well. Give him 3 for that one.
Run by Jones. Rim run. Gets down there, puts pressure on the defense, catches it, they collapse, kick out 3. Weathers is going to come out here, I think, because of that ankle. This was high-level finish, looking like George Gervin. Finger roll. You see, he did go down with some contact there.
He hurt his left leg early in the game, then his right leg got landed on there. So we can check both legs as far as having some pain. Now he appears to be all right as he sits down with 2:10 to go.
Critical last 2 minutes. If either team can steal some momentum here into the break, will be important because both teams have had fits and starts in this first half.
Tremont Waters off to the left, and Rosagua. Data basketball coach down at Tampa Catholic. Got a Knox blade there, and there's good defense. And Javonte Smart will run out, get fouled, and he'll go to the free throw, and he took it right away from the coach's son.
Likely's got to go get the ball. Zog was so dangerous when he's shooting threes and so dangerous in closeout situations, but if he's bringing the ball up against long athletic defenders, it's not exactly as strong suit. And Smart went and attacked him right away and just took it from him.
First shot is no good. Hey, Monday Night Football, our Week 12 matchup. AFC South. Texans are 7-3. They're in first. Look real good. They've won 7 in a row. Second place, Titans at 5-5. That's 8:15 Eastern Time, 5:15 Pacific. ESPN Deportes, and available on the ESPN app. You can watch anywhere. Our coverage will kick off Monday Night Countdown at 6. Then after the NFL game, don't forget Tuesday, Wednesday, the ACC Big Ten Challenge. We look forward to several significant games. Seth and Kevin Connors will talk about one of them at the break. McGriff misses, and the rebound comes to Tremont Waters. And a bad pass.
It's just being careless with the ball.
McGriff, is he physical inside? He lays it in.
Excellent inside out, throws the defender. He's got a big body. He's got good hands. Good feet. His handle is really probably the most improved part of his game. He could make a standstill three last year, but his ability to put the ball on the deck and create has really changed. 13
points in the game from McGriff. Cross-court pass. Zagwa deflected it off of Skylar Mays and out of bounds. It'll be LSU ball. McGriff and Weathers can absolutely take it to the hole. McGriff is just chiseled. He is a physical specimen.
Be a tight end.
Yeah, hard to knock the ball off of him. He now is a run out on a 4-on-1. And what do? You get a 3 from Zagwa.
You hate that.
I don't know, you had 3 dunks waiting for you. They end up getting the offensive rebound. That one seemed almost more egregious than others.
Why that bothers me more than others is because McGriff, to your point, that was going to be a lob. If you get that defender to commit Tremont Waters, but he's dead in the water. Throw that thing up, bring the house down. But they were fortunate to get away with 2 points there. But that is modern hoops.
So is that. Your 6'10" guy, Naz Reid, throwing up a 3 that goes in and out. And Oklahoma State will get a chance for the final shot.
He can shoot it, but it's better when it's off of somebody driving it, kicking it to him. He's stepping in. The defender's not right there. Better for him shooting threes in that situation.
Likely one-on-one. Left hand, no good. Williams will fire. No. Oklahoma State closed the half on a 7-0 run in the last 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Cameron McGriff, outstanding. 13 points on 6 of 11 shooting. As does Yor Ane. They are the second leading scorers, leading the way for LSU in their 37 points, 10 points. The only guy in double digits is Bigby Williams. And Cavell will start the second half on the bench.
And really, I'm interested to see how LSU plays. You see that ended the half on a 7-0 run the Cowboys did. Started the game with a 15-2 run. LSU needs to come out with energy and emotion and focus and attention to detail from the jump. Otherwise, the Cowboys could win this, start pulling away, I should say. Waters, this is a horrible possession. The ball finally left his hands after 20 seconds.
5 on the shot clock, likely at the top of the key. Gets a screen. Then he runs into Naz Reid. Waters will fire. Oh, he's 4 for 4, and that one goes from deep.
Those are backbreaking. When you're playing, you come out and you give a good defensive effort. Now, I said Oklahoma State didn't do anything offensively. Guarded one ball screen, essentially, but they end up burying a fall-away 3. You should have gotten a stop there.
Tremont Waters He too misses, but that one is tipped in, and Naz Reid is on the scoreboard with his first field goal.
It's a big play. We keep talking about Reid's rebounds. It's only his third board, but that's a big one on the offensive side.
Amazing how many times players will commit that. They'll travel when they catch the ball to make that move, and they always put their hands like, I don't get that. What did I do? Every time.
His feet. It is almost without fail. Very rarely do you see him ever turn to a ref and go, yep, you're right, sir. You got nailed that one.
McGriff will launch. And that one buries. So Waters and McGriff out of the gate both continue to shoot well. They were the go-to guys in the first half, and they've continued that here in the second.
I like that, too. Him setting the screen. He's deadly as a screener because he can pop out, as you just said, and make that three. Making, in this case, Emmett Williams be a guy that's going to guard him 25, 26 feet from the hoop. Waters comes over the top. You got two really good shooters in screening action. Williams stays maybe a second too long. It really wasn't even a good screen. I don't think how long he needed to stay. I think he could have just got back to McGriff. You've got to be aware of that.
Fremont Waters thought about a three. Then he goes into the lane. Now he kicks for one. Good hands by Naz Reid to anticipate. He comes back. Can't get it to go. Waters steps into another one. Ooh, he's going to get fouled, and he's going to shoot three. Not smart by Smart.
And when this Oklahoma State team is in transition, they are tough to guard. They've got shooters. They've got bigs that are running the floor hard, putting pressure on the defense. And Isaac Likely, a good point guard in terms of ability to get to the rim. He's not a great shooter, but he's looking to get other guys' shots, whether that be throw-aheads or, in that case, he drove it into the lane, got the collapse and the kick out.
Waters 17 of 22, now 18 of 23 this season from the free throw line, almost an 80% free throw shooter.
The first and last 4 minutes of each half is so critical. Oklahoma State set the tone, LSU battled back, but then they took that momentum. As we just said, can somebody steal momentum going to break? They did it with a 7-0 run, and they're still rolling.
20th annual ACC Big Ten Challenge, Tuesday, Michigan State, Louisville, 7:30. Zion Williamson, R.J. Barrett, Cam Reddish, Mike Krzyzewski, #1 Duke squares off against Indiana at Cameron Indoor. Another great night of hoops. Back-to-back great nights of hoops. ESPN and the ESPN app for our 20th annual ACC Big Ten Challenge. Dallin Cuff, Carl Ravitch here. ESPN's Wide World of Sports. LSU is looking for some offense. The skip pass they've employed all day.
Like Oklahoma State changing it up. They came back into a 2-3 zone. LSU, though, they struggled a little bit with changing defenses against Florida State playing on their heels. They went at him right away. They got in something quickly. That's a good shot for Mays in the corner. Just didn't get it to go down, and they fouled by Reid.
Boborowski's going to call the push on Reid. It's just as if the parts haven't fit together yet for LSU, because there's a lot of good parts here.
There are good parts, but you've got to have your parts running at optimal level, and they weren't from the jump. And that's what this team is going to learn, that no matter how much accolades you have coming into the year, how great seasons you put together like Waters did last year, if you don't bring it against another quality opponent, you're in trouble. And they're not out of this game by any stretch of the imagination, but they've got to be locked in when that ball gets put in play.
Goes from likely an 18-2 run between the first and second halves have given them a 14-point lead.
I've said it a number of times. I love when they're working that elbow handoff or ball screen. It's been lethal because you can't go. They're not going under the screen at times because it's too easy of a jump shot. When they're going over, they're able to curl it and get in the lane and have a lot of success. Take a look there. There's the ball screen. Waters goes under. If you're going to go under it, you better beat your man there. He doesn't do it. Especially with Likely, you want him anything else. Make him shoot a 15-footer if you can get under the screen. But the guy guarding the screen, it's harder now in college basketball, but you've got to try to move him out. You don't want to let a guy set a screen 15 feet from the hoop. Puts in a lot of pressure on your D.
Likely kicks. Waters has been red hot, and he doesn't get that one to go in and out. Nice setup, and he had a wide open three, but he couldn't get it.
That's an emphasis this year. You can't roll into a screen.
Will Wade is asking Boborowski, take a look at it and explain it.
Take a look. He doesn't really set. Well, there he's moving. You can't roll into the screen. It used to be if you set it and you start rolling right away, you can clear your guy out. Now you can't. You have to set it. You have to allow him to go under if he's going to go under. If there's no contact and you begin your roll and say he's like a foot, 2 feet behind you, and you start rolling down lane, that's fine. But if he's right there, you can't roll into him if the screen happens.
Zagua struggling a little bit with the basketball here the last couple of times he's had it. The arrow points to LSU. Zagua looking for a timeout.
How about the kid that's coming out and clean is wearing a Kentucky sweatshirt? How about that?
Cat's not here. It's fair. Fair game.
Interesting. Repping his squad.
Fair game. It would be really awkward if he were wearing a sweatshirt of somebody that's actually playing in this game.
I might have had to say something to him at that point. Be like, son, what are we doing here? And ask officials, can we clean this up?
There you go, brother. Represent Cat Country.
Another emphasis this year, cleaning up the physical post play.
Contrevious Jones gets called underneath. Nas Reed just threw it to the height that he would have caught it, but nobody else.
It's the right idea, but LSU's offense has been pretty bogged down. A lot of stagnation, not much ball and player movement right now. And obviously, guys are not on the same page.
10th turnover for LSU. A couple of substitutes get to the scorer's table. Weathers hasn't gotten on track today either for Oklahoma State. Likely a good back cut. McGriff ran into Nas Reed. And they're going to call Reed on the floor.
And Bo Borowski pointing, too, just letting everybody know he was inside the restricted arc. Reed's upset, but that's an easy call.
Take a look at his feet inside that circle there, that half circle, way inside.
And he's moving. He's doing it all. Great cut by McGriff, though. Earned himself a foul.
53-39, second half underway between Oklahoma State and LSU. Those of you scoring at home, McGriff credited with a 2, not a 3, so he's got 15 points, and the score is 52-39 in favor of LSU, Oklahoma State, I should say. LSU's looked a little disconnected offensively. Is that a right word for it?
I would go both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. Offensively in this half, they've been a little bit on their heels and have made some poor decisions. And defensively, look at some of these numbers, particularly the three-point line. Will Wade told me before the game, really worried about their shooting in transition. What we saw in the first half, a couple of transition threes. Their ball screen action, ball screen defense has not been great, allowing some threes. And they've just been, you're right, disconnected on both sides of the ball, and that always going to result in bad results. So
when a coach says, I'm a little worried about our three-point shooting in transition, does that mean we're not shooting well? We're not a good shooting team? We haven't worked on it enough?
Defensively. He's worried about their three-point shooting in transition, yes. And we saw.
Should he worry about his own? He's 3 of 14 from 3.
They've gotten some decent looks, but they got to make shots. I mean, some of these, like there again, when you watch Villanova, that is a jump stop, that is a ball fake, that is a layup or an and one, and at worst a drop off and a dunk. Leaving his feet like that is not a fundamental play. Again, a young player with a ton of talent, but you have to do things in a fundamental manner, and they're not doing them on either side of the ball.
12 turnovers. Weathers tries again. He gets fouled. Big B Williams will get him. Then he'll go to the line.
So we need to learn a lot about your team if you will wait. How hard are these guys going to compete? Because right now they're down. They're coming off that tough loss. It's easy to quit. But this ball needs to be rebounded. Look, did you see Contrevious Jones just totally displaced Days with one arm? Now, you could have called a foul there, but you've got more guys. Everybody's got to crash the glass. We keep talking about the defensive boards. They've got to compete every time that ball goes up on the rim.
Three-point play. Oklahoma State starting to pull away here, up by 18. Second half scoring 15-2. Strange coincidence, but they started the game on a 15-2 run. They start this half on a 15-2 run. And LSU was able to work their way back into it. Smart missed a three, gets the rebound to him, misses that. And Oklahoma State pushes with Weathers. His feet have slipped several times. Cunningham. LSU shooting is terrible from three-point land in this game so far.
The first one's not a bad look by Edwards at all. That's a good shot. In transition, he's wide open. The second one, you get the rebound. Mays is running down the ball. Guys are coming around, and there's two guys right there. You just have a new shot clock. He hoists another three. Now they get bailed out by a foul, but it's making the right play.
3 of 17 from three-point land. They're 1 of 9 from the field and haven't made a three. They're 0 of 5.
And let's give some credit to the Cowboys. They had been connected offensively. You see defensively. Now they're in their 2-3 zone. You see them pointing and yelling, talking about who's got the next pass, where the shooters are.
There's the jump stop you were looking for, but the ball won't go, and Weathers comes down with another one.
It's a good move. Just didn't finish.
All the way to the hoop, and he can't get the left-handed layup to go. Fight for it. It's LSU's. A lot of one-on-one stuff from LSU right now, and that's going out of bounds, and it'll stay right there. But a lot of one-on-one play from LSU.
They'll send Tim Waters back in, maybe help facilitate some offense, because, again, right now, Oklahoma State's done a good job of defending, and I think, to your point, LSU's made a number of questionable decisions with the ball, what times to go, and who's taking what shots when. Good ball fake. Ball fakes are huge against the zone, Ravi. Got to move the zone.
They keep trying that cross-court pass, and they just have not made their shots. Some of them have been uncontested shots. Villanova, the winner of this Advocare Invitational. Once again, Damir Cosby Roundtree. Dada gets the tournament most valuable player trophy.
Who would have picked that a week ago, by the way? I mean, he was so good in these 3 games. His effort, his energy, and both sides of the ball, cleaning up the glass, he was great.
Double-digit rebounds in 2 of the 3 games. He had 8 today. And Villanova, as Jay Wright came over to the table on his way out, said, we grew up a lot, didn't we? They sure did grow up.
Absolutely right.
They look like 3 different teams. It just kept getting better.
Absolutely. I mean, Canisius, it was like, oh boy, this could be a tough game the next day. Different team, and then the best version of themselves when they had to be against Florida State.
Foul on Edwards. So DeZagua, we kind of touched on that story. His coaching staff challenged him to go out and make 25,000 shots in the summer. Do you ever do? I mean, you were a shooter. You know what does 25,000 shots make feel like? Because obviously you're missing some of those.
You're missing a good amount. I don't know how. When I was going into junior year, it was 500 makes a day, 500 to 1,000 makes a day, depending on what was going on. Now
every day.
Like I said, depending on what was going on. But every day was at least 500.
Right.
Sometimes 1,000. But if there's other things we were doing in the course of the day, different types of workouts would change. But so you made 26,000 shots. That's a boatload of shots. He's got a lightning quick release, too. He catches it, no wasted motion. I like this zone look, too. LSU has struggled with it. Has split by Reed there.
LSU is scoreless in almost 7 minutes.
And nothing's easy right now. And they've gotten some good looks. Wilder's last 3 was a good look for them, but they're not getting anything easy, not getting anything in transition, which is what Mike Boynton wants. If you can make them play in a half-court game offensively, you have a really good chance. There's a lid on this basket.
Tower of Terror ride here where you just fall like you're in an elevator shaft. That shriek I heard during the free throw, I thought the ride had move to the building. Miles Reed gets one to go. They're in business now.
When I'm on that ride, I might be just like, I sound just like that, I'm pretty sure.
Most people do.
In full flex and squealing at the top of my lungs. Zagwa wide open in the corner, hands up, wants the ball for Orange. Finally get a man on him. It's again a tough matchup for Williams with McGriff, who's able to put in the deck and create. Better defense on that elbow ball screen. Zagwa, they went over the top. They kind of chased him off it. The big helped as well. And Zagwa kept going underneath, tried to skip it across. It was a good look. Cunningham just didn't handle essentially the ground ball.
Right into the passing lane, and Cunningham lays it up and lays it in. Not a good pass from Edwards as he just went straight, flat, cross court.
They've stayed in the zone the last 5 or 6 possessions. That was just an errant pass by Edwards.
Good pass down low to Naz Reid, who bounces it, gets hit, and gets the bucket. That was a good look to Naz Reid in the paint.
Good finish, strong finish through contact. And see if they continue to put the press on after they make this. They make Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State likes to play fast and play at an up-tempo game, but if you make them fast and take quick shots out of control, that could benefit you. This is Waters. Nice pass inside. Again, he can throw it with either hand, his left hand off the bounce. Floating it in there to Reid. And one.
For LSU, that was their first field goal in about 7 minutes. They got a chance for another one here, and they'll get it. Mays, great ball fake, got McGriff in the air.
That's big, and that's caused Mike Cunningham just kind of floated away and didn't go attack the defensive boards, and Mays was the beneficiary of it. So, warning on LSU for touching the ball after the made layup, excuse me. So now they're going to come in there, diamond pressure. They will trap that first pass. Andy Waters, not the best at handling full court pressure. He's got the ball. It behooves LSU to double him.
Oklahoma State's got a chance to talk about it. See if LSU, who went inside on the last trip, LSU felt like they'd won it at least once, maybe 3 times. They, in fact, drenched Ogeron with Gatorade because it was over.
He was covered in Gatorade at regulation. He then had to go 7 OTs with what looked like blue ice Gatorade, or whatever the blue color is these days.
Yeah, there were several examples that LSU will hold up and say, that game was over. We won here, we won there, and instead they lose in 7 overtimes.
Brutal.
A little comeback here today to salvage some of that. I know this, the baseball team's really excited about their recruiting class. Paul Maneri's got them going again. And here's a little offensive foul on the Zagwa, so LSU will take over.
To make a positive spin, you're talking about baseball recruiting class. Let's talk about this game here. You scored 4 straight points, get a turnover. You got 11:40 to go. A lot of hoops left. They've gotten some decent shots. They've missed some shots they normally make. We'll see if they can attack the defense that Oklahoma State comes out with. It looks like they've gone back to man, so looking at guys standing out here.
You were glass half full, guys. Come on.
Perpetual optimist here.
Totally.
Good duck in by Williams through contact.
There's just a strong physical nature about Williams, about Reid.
They did a good job defending the initial ball screen. I like having Naz Reid and Tremont Waters and some screening action up top. They defended it well, but Williams just ducked in right hard on Kalu and was able to put him in a tough situation. The freshman's got to be aware you have to be alert the entire possession because your man is standing on the block. Doesn't mean he's going to stand there the whole time. Ducked right in him.
Back-to-back trips, though, they go inside, and that's with the physical size of those guys relative to Oklahoma State. Keep feeding the monster in the paint.
They struggled to knock down threes. Yeah, 3 of 19.
And missed 16 of those.
To your point, on one side, Cameron McGriff's been a tough matchup for some of these bigs. We'll try to hurt them the other direction. Because now, especially the Cowboys have gone with 4-guard lineup with McGriff at the 5.
to drop into a 2-3. Now man. And that's a reach foul and a slap on Javonte Smart.
Away just looks back. He's kind of slapping his arm. Like, we don't need, that's a tough one. You don't need that one because you're putting out Desagua on the free throw line. The guy's a ridiculous shooter, and no matter what line he's at, he's great at it. And you're basically giving them a chance to score when they didn't earn it.
I mean, he's a 58% field goal shooter from three. 58% from three. That actually is his first free throw of the year. That's his first.
He's such a good, he's a great shooter. He shoots 3/4 of his shots. 80% of his shots are three-point attempts, and he's shooting 58%. That's insane.
His first 2 free throw makes. He missed one earlier. And Desagua, after that, needs rest. The free throw just takes him out of his comfort zone. He's going to take a rest.
A little offense-defense, actually. Bring on Duncan DeMuth now, and you have a chance. Better defender, bigger body. We're just talking about will they be able to exploit them inside. They went 4 guards there for 1 possession.
Nas Reed. Good time here, Waters. Good kick. Smart 3. No good, and it's rebounded by Likely.
Good trail.
McGriff, splash.
Transition defense. And Will Wade just looks at his bench like, it's not like we didn't talk about this, guys. When you come back, and yes, Lindy Waters put a little pressure on it, but where's the communication and being alert at where guys are coming back in, flowing into the play?
Watch out, McGriff is open on the wing. Oh, good block, and they'll call it goaltend on Nas Reed. Oklahoma State's got a lot of bounce in their step and a lot of smiles on their faces. McGriff has got 20 in the game.
You just take a look. All 5 white shirts are there. Nobody's pointing. Nobody's talking. You're dead in the water. I mean, you run drills all the time in practice where one guy has to run and touch the baseline while the play continues on, so it's 5-on-4, sometimes 5-on-3. So you work on that transition D, doing it odd man, doing it down a man. There they had all 5 back, and they just weren't communicating.
Watch out.
Oh, he didn't get it.
He lost it on the way up, but is able to make the basket with Weathers. And the largest lead of the night for Oklahoma State extends to 22. 10:25 to go, and a lot of chest bumping right now. They're 0 of 8 from the field in the second half. They've been outscored 26-9. One guy sitting down, looks pretty chill. The other one is standing up and looking very anxious. That's Will Wade. LSU's team is down big here. They've settled for a lot of threes, like 20 of them, and they've made 3.
Taking a lot of threes, 8 turnovers. Been very careless. 8 turnovers should be this half. 15 turnovers on the game. Very careless with the ball. That's what I think they need to do is find a way to attack the rim more. They can get there on the pass or the bounce, but
they just missed 3 more shots.
I will say this: they miss a lot of shots they normally make. They've missed layups. They have missed some open threes, and they're no longer going with the press. Looks like they're going to drop a little 1-3-1 half court. Now they will trap out of this at times. Again, trying to turn over Oklahoma State, trying to make them play fast. Possessions are at a premium now.
And he did trade out Desagua for DeMuth on the offensive end. LSU's keeping an eye on him as he moves towards that corner. And here's a steal and a run out for Skylar Mays.
Mike Weathers got to be strong with the ball. They're trapping you. He's got the ball up by his face. I mean, you're weak. You're weak. You're off balance. Very little you can do. But that 1-3-1 did its job. You got to know where number 4 Desagua is against this defense.
They left him alone, and he buries a 3. Skylar Mays gave him too much room. And Desagua hits another. Again, a near 60% shooter from 3. And that's not because he's taken 6 of them. Desagua has now taken 36 threes. Skylar Mays answers down the other end. Skylar Mays to 14 points.
LSU stays in the zone. You want to try to still get it into the high post teeth of the defense, or if you could attack out of the corners from the 1-3-1. Take a look at this possession here as they get it in. You'd rather have McGriff go one-on-one with the defender and some help on the other side than leaving Desagua for a 24-foot. That sounds crazy, but that's how good of a shooter he is.
It makes it a little more challenging because Waters is so hot today that he's a three-point threat.
Yep.
So you're picking your poison. Your point is you cannot leave 4 alone.
You can't leave 4. You're not in that situation where it's just one pass away. It's too easy. But that's what you want to do in the zone. You want to get it in the high post, make guys make decisions. You got to make the right ones and no personnel.
Weathers has a quick shot out of the break, and that one is off of McGriff and will go the other way.
This is not the shot you want either.
Right.
And Mike Boyden looked at his staff and probably said as such, because Weathers is a good, skilled, talented player, but this much time on the shot clock, you're up 20. You can get that shot literally any time. You don't need it now.
They take DeZagua out. Is this going to be something they're going to do?
Yep. Offense, defense. If you can get him out and have another guy defend, whether it be Duncan DeMuth, get some more size and length. That's a good job attacking the zone, too, against 2-3. Get it in the high post, look low.
LSU get a little run of him here?
We'll see. This offensive group for Oklahoma State, not that much of a threat against the zone, so they might have an opportunity. Weathers has got to get that ball off his head when they come to trap him. Good cut.
Really good pass and a great ball fake from Waters. Keeps adding to his point total. He drops in 2 more. 16 for Indy Waters. Baseline jumper goes from Waters.
Here's Will Wade saying attack the ball right now. They've got to find a way to speed this thing up and maybe get some turnovers. There's
one. They're going to get that foul on LSU's Williams.
Will Wade says no way, but maybe Williams is a step slow getting there, and that caused the problem. Got to react to the rock.
Timeout, 73-55. As Feast Week continues with the Advocare Invitational. Florida State, Jay Wright did say, my goodness, they can really defend. He came over to the table after on his way out. He said he was really complimentary of Florida State's ability to disrupt. I mean, they did not shoot nearly as many threes, let alone make as many threes as they usually do.
Well, that's also how Florida State guarded them. The first 4 or 5 minutes, they let Villanova get some threes by people helping. After that, Leonard Hamilton said, we're not helping off anybody. You got to make these guys score in the lane. And Villanova was able to do that. Gillespie, Booth, Pascal, the biggest characters to do it. And then Cosby Roundtree cleaning things up on the offensive glass at times. That's a long, athletic team, but Villanova took a big step in their ability to execute offensively when a team changes up their game plan.
Funny how quickly, and I know Coach Greenberg back in the studio knows this, but how quickly you can feel like you're developing, and I'm sure along the way there'll be some steps you take back. But boy, did they move the way they wanted to over the course of this tournament, Villanova.
Yeah, I mean, you want to see improvement every time you practice, every game you play, and to see that stark night to night in terms of when the lights were on here was really impressive. Canisius, there were a litany of issues on both ends of the court. Guys weren't connected at times. The next game, there was more improvement. There was more understanding defensively. There were guys, Pascal making shots, which helps them obviously. In the last game, they put it all together against their most difficult opponent. There's still things to work on, don't get me wrong.
No doubt.
But they definitely, each day was way better. And think about it from a mental standpoint, too. The first thing I asked Jay when I saw him on Wednesday was, how are you guys doing morale-wise? He's like, well, the coaches and us, we saw that. We knew we had some issues. These guys feel a little shell-shocked. To lose to Michigan at home like that hurts. But then to lose to Furman, I mean, people are all around the country talking about that loss and what that means. Is Nova gone? What's the deal? So to have them have the mental bounce back and to find a way to fight and get 3 wins here in 4 days, impressive.
Three-pointer in the corner from Skylar Mays. And Will Wade immediately says, let's continue to talk this thing over as we're trying to chip away at it.
We'll see if they come out and press. I assume they will here in some.
Furman Boom's going to be on the show, too, with some of the NFL's best games. Aaron Rodgers after the Packers-Vikings. Patriots get a victory with Gronkowski back over the Jets. And what has changed for LeBron and the Lakers as they start for 4 straight? SportsCenter, 11 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN and the ESPN app. Saw Scott Van Pelt tweet out today, really concerned about the length of time it's going to require for bad beats this week. Because it seemed like every game had one of those.
That is one of the best segments in TV. I love that. Show is great. That segment in particular is tremendous.
6.5 to go, and Oklahoma State's had a comfortable lead most of this second half. Duncan DeMuth, he walked with it. Duncan
So I'm
DeMuth
surprised they left him in.
Yeah.
When they were going offense-defense, I would think you, again, sub him out, get another offensive player in there, and then if you have a chance to get him out on the other end, that's what you want to do. Very limited offensively.
Well, we have some time. Let's bring Seth Greenberg in. Coach Greenberg from our studio. As that three goes, we were just talking about development, and obviously as the coach you were for so many years, Jay Wright came over to the table, Seth, after our game and said, boy, they really grew up, didn't they? Well, how quickly can that happen? What do you see from a team?
You know, it's interesting to me. I thought two things in the way they grew up this past week. First of all, a game plan was put together against Michigan. Michigan decided to what? On dribble penetration, stay home on all the shooters and force the ball handler, take away the drive and kick, and force the ball handler to score. Villanova made did a great job in the second half, taking Florida State off the glass. They kept them out of transition. They owned the tempo of the game. They contested shots. I thought their defensive game plan and their defense was as good as their offensive execution in the second half.
And I know results are really important, but from a coaching perspective, how are you able to distinguish between we made progress regardless of the outcome? And did Jay Wright see that even though they won? Whether they lost or won, did he see that? Did Leonard Hamilton see it? And what are you as a coach looking for in the first 3-4 weeks of a season?
Yeah, these games are fact-finding missions as a coach. I mean, you're going to these tournaments to play like-type opponents on a neutral court to find out your team's warts, to find out what you need to work on moving forward so that after finals, when it's just you and your team, when school is out, you've got your team for about 3 weeks prior to the start of league play. What are you going to work on? Where do you need to improve it? Do you have to solidify maybe your rotation? Who's your best pressing team? Who's your best short clock team? So, you know, I think that if you're Jay Wright, a couple of things happen. Sadiq Bey has separated himself. He's a guy that is going to have an impact on this team moving forward. He's a guy that you can see was not overwhelmed by the moment. So that's huge for Villanova. Obviously, Crosby Roundtree, he separated himself this past week. You know, Jay Wright's all about roles, embracing your role, playing your strengths. Roundtree knows who he is. He hasn't taken a three-point shot because he's not a three-point shooter. What does he do? Plays off penetration, good ball screen defender, good alert defender off the ball, a rim protector, rebounds balls outside his area. So Jay shortened his bench, no doubt about it, shortened his bench to 7, which was positive. And he's going to try to get 7 guys playing well together. And then as the season moves along, what do? Maybe you add an 8. Javon Quinerly, right? McDonald's quote-unquote All-American doesn't get in the game. He's not ready yet. So what do you have to do? You got to shorten your bench, play the guys that are ready, continue to develop your young players, get them to understand the culture and what's expected of them and what it means to be a winning player. But I thought that, you know, Jay Wright coming off that back-to-back losses, he had to coach them mentally, physically, emotionally, but stay true to his culture, and I thought he did a great job with it.
Coach, we appreciate you helping out. Thanks very much, bud.
Thanks, guys.
81-64 back.
Are we sending Coach a Poke Bowl? He deserves it after that was good.
He does. He does.
Fire one up there.
I like what he went with, quote-unquote, McDonald's All-American.
There's a lot of politicking that goes in McDonald's All-American circles. So.
Sure. Cunningham buries that, 83-64. From your perspective, what Will Wade sees individually may be one thing, as he's about to switch his line to bring 4 others in. What do you think this team is capable of, and how long does it take to make it happen?
I think what you show guys in this game, and especially, is a level of effort and attention to detail. It has to be locked in for 40 minutes, and they were not nearly the effort you need at the beginning of the game or the attention to detail. Letting guys, shooters wide open, make shots. Not cleaning up their defensive glass right away when a game they gave up 22 offensive boards in their last outing against Florida State. Knowing personnel. There were a bunch of issues, and we saw it in the second half. Beginning of the second half is the same thing. They didn't come out with any energy or effort. And conversely, this Oklahoma State team, this team is hungry. They want to prove they're good. That's Mike Boyd. I said, what have you learned about your team these first 2 games? We have a chance to be pretty good.
Right.
It was that simple. They've got a lot of pieces coming in, different guys coming in, and they're learning that they could be really good. This is statement winning over a top 20 team.
Speaking of hungry, what's going on here, brother? 4 over LSU. One of the criticisms last year, Oklahoma State, they didn't play a tough enough non-conference schedule. A lot of people, Vitale included, screaming they should have got into the tournament. Did he address that? Did he go too far? What does he think about that?
Mike Boynton told me before the game, he addressed it. He might have gone overboard. I mean, they're playing this tournament, which is a big step for them. They go on the road to Minnesota next. They're going to play at Nebraska. They're going to play against Tulsa at Tulsa. So they're playing a number of folks, but I'll tell you what, looks like they're capable of winning these games. They're winning this game, and they've done it on their terms. They've attacked when they wanted to in transition. They've scored 23 points off turnovers. They've sped up LSU. They've defended at a high level. And then offensively, whether it was the 1-3-1 we saw, a 2-2-1 back to a 2-3, the man-to-man, they've executed.
Right.
And I feel like LSU has not made many adjustments, especially that right there. We talked about it over and over. That elbow ball screen or elbow handoff, however they're running it, they're killing them. Whether they go under it, they're not able to turn the corner. They're not pushing that guy out that's setting the screen. They haven't tweaked and made a couple adjustments defensively. They also haven't made the plays executed, whereas Oklahoma State has made them all.
Painful lesson last year on Selection Sunday for Oklahoma State and the Cowboys.
I mean, they had 4 wins over top 10 teams. It's most in the country.
They swept Kansas.
They didn't get in. Sweep Kansas. You blast Oklahoma, your rival. You beat them during the regular season, but you beat them again in the tournament.
Yep.
In the Big 12 tournament, Oklahoma gets.
Right.
Well, let's be honest here.
I get you.
Trae Young was not playing in that tournament. We'll give you a double negative. He was going to be in that tournament no matter what. And Oklahoma, honestly, didn't really deserve it on the second half of the season.
The first round.
Because the second half of the season, they couldn't win a game. That team was beaten mentally and physically. Right. But the first half of the season, they racked up some great wins. So that's why this win, back to your initial point, is so important for Oklahoma State because it's on your resume the whole year. Better move by Lindy Waters. 6 seconds ticked off the clock before we picked up the ball. Clock is all that matters right there.
Trap, we're going to get a foul. That's like we're going to call it on days.
Soft call, but you wouldn't want to see, like Will Wade's upset about that. You do want to see your guys execute and get better. It's a young team. You've got a minute 50 left in real game time to keep practicing, keep working on things. So they had a good trap. Keep your hands high, keep your feet active, and likely had the ball above his head, dead in the water, in the corner. You can't catch the ball there as a freshman. He gets bailed out by a foul. Both teams got to keep learning through the course of this game.
Any game you're excited about for this ACC Big Ten Challenge?
I mean, Indiana Duke, because it's 2 blue bloods we don't get to see very often. That's unique. I like the game you're calling.
Syracuse, Ohio State.
Syracuse, Ohio State.
A little better than people thought they would be this year.
Exactly. I think for the Big Ten, it's critical because they did so well in those Gavitt games. So they're playing the Big East. They've had big wins, whether it be that or Iowa beating Oregon. We'll see now. You go to the ACC. If they can keep performing at a level, that really helps because this conference, people I thought they were going to be down this year, but you see the performances they've turned in. You see the growth some of these teams have had. I mean, that game at Minnesota, Oklahoma State's playing next week. Tough game.
Yes, it will be.
Minnesota, I mean, I was so high on them last year with suspensions, injuries, all types of different stuff, but they still have a lot of really good pieces. And Jordan Murphy and other guys at guards, with Brayer. They've got some guys up there, Richard Pitino, so that'll be a fun game this week.
Oklahoma State 87-71 over LSU. Our Advocare player of the game, Cameron McGriff. He was outstanding early to get them really off, and he's continued to do that. 26 points. He took 14 shots, made 9 of them, did not miss a free throw. And you say, okay, well, how many rebounds? Well, he got 1 rebound on the defensive end. He's done just about everything that Mike Boynton has asked him to do. 26 points, very efficient shooting.
Yeah, he was great.
And his defense has been very good.
Yeah, he defended well. I like the way they changed defense in the second half, especially the team. They ran, that 2-3 zone was effective. But McGriff presents some challenges for you. 6'7", 220, and can knock down shots. But look, LSU, they're late contest. Now, he's a matchup problem. I get that. But you're going to have to contest. You have to slide your feet. And at times, he was wide open. There was a trailer situation we had earlier in the first half. Guy's not adjusting. He's making shots. You can't close out with your hands down. That was one where all 5 guys ran to the paint. Nobody communicated and took the trailer. He walked into that shot like it was a Sunday in the park. Right. He played a great game. He was efficient. Likely 9 points, 9 rebounds, 8 assists. The guy's almost have a triple-double, that freshman. Really impressive game and solid floor game against a team that has a lot of talented athletes in their competition, being LSU.
Foul was called against McGriff. is going to help.
Being told that Will Wade thinks the score is incorrect. This is going to be a significant to some situation here. The score is correct, 72-87.
Seems to be some discrepancy about the number of free throws. Apparently, Will Wade thought he had already taken one when he hadn't, and this is now the second free throw.
He's just operating or playing different than us. He knew the shot was going to go in. He's just ahead of us in time.
Put 73 on the board already.
Dr. Emmett Brown, who's on the space-time continuum, he's ahead of us.
Listen, you with an Emmett Brown reference.
It's sad that that's one of the, I could probably give you that entire movie just verbatim right now. That might be pretty entertaining for me, sure. With the Huey Lewis and the News songs,
yes.
fine too.
How about Cameron McGriff, by the way? Is he transferred time there, holding up in the air for a while?
He's had a heck of a game, playing with tons of confidence. This Oklahoma State team will leave Orlando realizing exactly what Mike Boynton said. We're pretty good.
We are pretty good.
We can be pretty good. And they're still not playing with their full complement. Curtis Jones, transfer from Indiana, he'll be eligible at the semester break, and for them, that's that game against Nebraska in mid-December. So they're going to get even better, even more talented at the guard spot.
And Weathers, who hasn't had a huge game, 11 points, he hasn't played to the degree that you know he can play. That's unbelievable. And boy, that right ankle, my goodness. Came down really awkwardly on that right ankle to support that body of his.
That is an awkward landing.
I mean, really.
But how strong and physically talented is he? And under control there to finish that.
Out of Grand Prairie, Texas, the 6'7" junior. Our Advocare player of the game as Weathers knocks down the free throw.
The fun thing with this team, too, is like McGriff's game, we talked about his ability to put on the deck and become a consistent shooter, has really progressed from last year to this year. Lindy Waters having ability to he's become a better passer, not just making open shots, able to help his teammates out. Dzagwu, obviously, dead-eye shooter. These guys were in the gym all summer. They've elevated their game, and then all these new pieces coming around them make this Oklahoma State team a really formidable group.
I don't know how, regardless of the Selection Sunday situation, you are not buoyed by the fact that you beat Oklahoma, you twice beat Kansas, and take that into this year. Like, we can compete with them. Like, we're as good as they are.
And they did. They did do that. They took that to the NIT in the quarterfinals and lost there. But Mike Boynton, that's his first year coaching and a job that honestly he didn't think he was going to get. So he's in this new opportunity with a team that he didn't think he would be there. Craig Underwood was there for 1 year, leaves. Boynton moves up the bench from assistant to head coach and has those big wins. So you have proof points to your team. You bring in this other talent, and you're starting to, it's just coming together, really quickly. This team lost to Charlotte, granted on the road, a young team. They were up 24 at one point. They lost to Charlotte 3 weeks ago. Now they're beating a top 20 team.
The Grey Cup is coming up next year.
The Coupe de Gris.
They love the Grey Cup. Chris Berman in, he lives for the Grey Cup. So he'll help
Who's
out
in
with
the Grey
highlights.
Cup right now?
I think Calgary is playing in it. Yes, Calgary is. Look out!
Holy brother. That might end up in Calgary.
Late emphatic block.
Unfortunately,
Bigby Williams.
the problem is that's a great block, but you had 90 hung on you. And that's the issue. Defensively, they've shot almost 70% in the second half. I mean, there's a lot of learning points for Will Wade's team here.
Trey Reeves is in the game. That's Big Country's son. They shot clock expires. We get a goaltend? No, we're going to get a shot clock.
One ref said good, one said shot clock.
One said count it, the other said shot clock.
But that play right there is a microcosm of the whole day. It's a baseline out of bounds. We had a day to prepare. You know they went over these things. It's a simple screen the screener, and he slips to the basket for that. With the shot clock being dead.
Right.
Like, I mean, shot clock almost dead. Like,
Should
you switch everything, stay in front.
Can't happen.
Can't happen. But it did happen, and Will Wade's got a lot of talent here, but he knows he's got a lot of work to do with this group.
Well, it's been a fun experience working with you, big fella.
Yeah, man. Good times. Hope we get to do it again. And, of course, we'll find the closest Big Island tuna poke.
Wherever that can be found, we will find it.
I don't care if we're in West Lafayette, Indiana. We're going to find it.
We will find it. Will Wade, Mike Boynton shake hands. Congratulations, Oklahoma State. Third place finish in November tournament, their third one. Boy, you come here.